Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, B'chakodash, giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Shalom, and salutation to all you Sensei Akim across the four winds, pushing his truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasamagan from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, V'chakodash. And in this lesson, we're going to go into Babylon the great whore, a hole's paradise, all right? AKA the United States is a hole's paradise. Now, without further ado, let's go into this video on YouTube from this channel called Pink Book Lessons. And I believe this is a so-called black woman. She has this channel when she goes into she gossips about some of the things that's going into that takes place in the community, all right, and the degenerates in our community, primarily the women, all right, the so-called black women, and their level of degeneracy. All the tribes really are degenerates, are women, but of course, the black woman, she leads the charge in degeneracy, and we in a land that basically provides, setting for degeneracy. And that's kind of where we are now. So America is definitely a host paradise. And according to the Bible, this whore is going to be dealt with by fire. Now, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to have to stop it at certain places because I don't want, for copyright purposes. So this is, I'm going to say fair use, and this is for educational purposes only.
Start with Lulu. Let's go and get the out of Lulu.
He want me dead or he a dog can't get no out the queen. Put some Lulu on his butt. Lululemon! Put some Lulu on his butt.
Right now at the intersection of fashion, clout, and controversy, a viral video making its way around social media showing a group of women popping their thought pockets not at a club, but inside a Lululemon store. The video reportedly recorded in Atlanta when a group of women went inside the luxury athleisure brand storefront.
Yeah, man. So again, this thing kind of went viral. If you've seen it, you've already seen it. Very disgusting behavior, but it's typical, right? It's typical when you live in a land that the Bible calls the great whore, the mother of all harlots. You expect, this is the kind of behavior that you expect from the women of that land, all right? This land was made to basically give birth to whores and prostitutes and thoughts, and so basically this behavior is not surprising. The degeneracy is at an all-time high. The reason why the haughtiness is that you see right there, just acting like a damn monkey and knowing that there's no responsibility, there's no consequences for your actions. You're just allowed to do whatever you want to do. The men are not, right? The men get held to a higher standard, but the women are like children, which really women are children with breasts anyway. So, I mean, when you understand that, you understand why, since the beginning of ages, all these men of old have always subjugated women. So then now you realize in 2025, you fully realize why all of these centuries, men of different cultures and nationalities, not just the nation of Israel, I mean different cultures and nationalities, they believed in different gods, and their food was different, their culture was different, but they all understood one thing: if you don't subjugate your women, the clock is on. All right, the clock meaning your kingdom, your empire is gonna fall, and it's just a matter of time. So Babylon the Great was made to make that critical mistake, which is beautiful because feminism is cancer. We know feminism is cancer, and Babylon the Great, just the host paradise, is basically going through stage 4 cancer, right now. So we're just witnessing the fall. Now, let's go to Revelation 17:1. This is the NLT. And it states, the great prostitute, it says, one of the 7 angels who had poured out the 7 bowls came over and spoke to me. Come with me, he said, and I will show you the judgment that is going to come on the great prostitute who rules over many waters. All right, the great prostitute or the great whore is talking about the United States, Babylon the Great. It says the king of the world have committed adultery with her, and the people who belong to this world have been made drunk by the wine of her immorality. So yeah, so you have the nations that have poured in their riches, their intellect into this place, right? This technology and so on and so forth. They brought forth their gods. Like I said, you can go in any states in America and you will see a god that represents a particular nation. And in return, these nations contracted the whore's disease, such as feminism, which is cancer, and also, democracy, which is, ruled by the people, which when you have the combination of the cancer of feminism and the cancer of democracy, that's a deadly duo right there, because democracy is the rule of the people. And if you allow women to vote or women to participate, you're always going to have more women than men. So women would always outvote the men. So therefore, women would always vote for more wickedness because they are the weaker vessel. All right. They're the ones who open up the doors. They're the one that make homosexuals comfortable, transgenders, so all these different abominable lifestyles are all of a sudden become slightly acceptable because through the women. All right, because the women will weaken the men, and therefore the weak men not being able or not willing to judge the women will also be tricked into not judging other foul, abominable lewdness that's going on in the land. So this is a process that's spiritual, and this is what the whore is doing. So if you out here looking for a wife in Babylon the Great in America, this is a host paradise. This place was made to give birth to the whores, not wives. All right, and we living at the end of the world where this place is gonna be burned by fire, and all these whores that you see dancing in the mall and literally like twerking and all these whores are gonna burn by fire. Some of them ain't even gonna make it to the fire. Some of them gonna die of diseases. Some of them are gonna die. Animals gonna eat them alive. Some of them gonna die in the concentration camps, and then the rest they just gonna be burned by thermonuclear missiles. Verse 3, it says, so the angel took me in the spirit in the wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns, and blasphemies against the Most High were written all over it. The woman wore purple and scarlet clothing and beautiful jewelry made of gold and precious gems and pearls. In her hand, she held a gold goblet or golden cup full of obscenities and the impurities of her immorality. All right, so you see what's going on. That's all immorality. It says, a mysterious name was written on her forehead. Babylon the Great, mother of all prostitutes, or mother of all harlots, and obscenities in the world. All right, so the reason why the world is fucked up, because people say, damn, the world is fucked up. Well, the main reason why the world is fucked up is because of Babylon the Great. All right, it's because of the United States and the influence that the United States has across the world. All right, so this is biblical prophecy. And the people that are heavily influenced in wickedness, are the nation of Israel, beginning with our women. Our women they're the biggest whores right there with the so-called white women, the Edomite woman. Right, the top whores in Babylon the Great are the so-called black women and the rest of the Israelite women and the Edomite women. All right, they're the top whores right now. They're at the very top. Now, when you look at this is Forbes. Now, Forbes magazine talked about the aspects, right, of feminism, the cancer called feminism, and basically what has happened since 2020, because it's been 5 years since the C-19, and a lot has changed. All right, a lot has changed. It says a psychologist digs into the mental health repercussions of OnlyFans stardom. It says the C19 epidemic led to a change in how sexually explicit content is produced and consumed, with OnlyFans emerging as a prominent platform in this conversation. To grasp the impact OnlyFans has had on our culture, think about the last time you heard someone say something like this. It says, "My pay raise is so meager, I might have to resort to starting an OnlyFans to make ends meet," right? Because, of course, the economy tanked back in 2020 due to the C19 and, doors being shut down and businesses being closed. And, of course, a lot of these women that used to be part of the corporate world, some of them still kept their jobs and their money, but, the economy the way it is right now, everything is more and more expensive. So women are having to turn to, quote unquote, the world's oldest profession, and they're having to go out there and sexualize their bodies and be monetized. All right. That's what the modern day woman is monetized. Shout out to Coach CGA, Coach Greg. The modern woman is monetized. So it says she makes so much money on OnlyFans. Maybe I should start one too. Right. A host paradise. All right, so it's not about women seeking equality so they can rub shoulders with men in corporations and compete with men. No, it's always been about women being able to sexualize their bodies without a pimp, all right, without a middleman, without a Hugh Hefner, to basically so-called exploit them. OnlyFans is so empowering to women, meaning what OnlyFans allows a woman to sell her ass and reap the benefits of it. It says OnlyFans is so empowering to women, you aren't being exploited by men like women in mainstream porn are. So see, that's the thing about women. It's not that women don't want to be hoes, right? It's that women don't want they don't want to be hoes and then have a man, basically reap the benefits of their whoredom. So now we gotten to the point where, like I said, being a pimp, you can't be a pimp out here. Like, you can't, the Hugh Hefner and all that, man, you're going to get crazy lawsuits, right? You see what's going on right now. Like, a lot of these broke women, all they're doing is what? Dropping lawsuits and dudes. And you can't just go around and sell. Being a whoremonger at 2025 is a dangerous gig because these women will get you locked up, all right? And they'll have you sued. So women, they've always wanted to just sell their ass and reap all the benefits of their whoredom. That's what women's empowerment was all about. It was never about being taken serious as a actual competitor in the workforce. So, hey, listen, this is where we are, man. Everything is being exposed. Why? Because we're at the end of this thing. This is the quintessential end of the world. So everything is being revealed. It says, while some of these statements may be made tongue-in-cheek, they reflect a shift in how we think about sexual explicit material. OnlyFans and similar platforms have been touted as symbol of empowerment for content creators, many of whom are females. All right, so then you keep going. Let me see. I want to go to when they're actually talking about the issues, right? The repercussions, the aftermath, the consequences of being a hoe. It says female creators on OnlyFans face harsher consequences compared to male creators, which I'm not going to read. I'm just going to look at the titles. I'm just going to read the titles, right? Which, and when it comes to this, they're talking about in the future, right? I mean, once you got a woman on OnlyFans, a woman exposing herself like these hoes that were exposing themselves in this shop, when you recognize her, immediately that cuts her off, right? Not only a fool, a blue pill beta male will actually go out and try to marry a whore, right? But those are the men that are actually marrying whores. Right? When you're talking about married men in Babylon, I probably say 90% of the married men in Babylon, they're blue pill simps, weak men. And these are the ones that marry whores, because a weak man has no boundaries. And a whore, the thing about a whore can only be long-term. A whore can only really be with a man who's not going to have boundaries, because boundaries is what stops her from being a whore. So she's going to be, so if you know a woman who's a whore and she's with a man, it doesn't matter what that man says. That man is not alpha. He's nowhere near that, because if he was really dominant, if he was that guy, she wouldn't be a whore, or he wouldn't be with the whore. Whores link with blue pill weak men. All right, that's the only way. And now that men are waking up to this bullshit, guess what's happening? Marriage rates have dropped, relationships rates have dropped, birth rate has dropped, so everything is dropping. All right, this society is on the brink of collapse. The host paradise is coming to an end. Verse 2, it says, sex work is linked to a higher prevalence of mental health issues. All right, so mental health issues, that's something that these women deal with. These women have, I mean, they're extremely toxic. They have red flags. These whores, you should not take the women in Babylon seriously. The majority of these women are going to perish. Verse 3, it says, OnlyFans content creators may be under pressure to create sexually explicit content. Man, I don't believe that, man. Listen, they say this stuff, but that's just to remove accountability from women's actions. Because now these women are using OnlyFans to sell their ass, right? These hoes. But in the next couple of years, a lot of these women are going to turn, they're going to be old. They're going to be in their 30s, and they're going to want to get settled down and be married. They're not going to have suitors because they out there, right? And what you know what's going to happen? All these hoes, all these old hoes are going to sue the pants off of OnlyFans. Watch. Massive. You're going to have, massive lawsuits. All right, from all these hoes, because women do not take accountability for their action. That's their kryptonite. We've already figured that out, and they're gonna turn around and say OnlyFans exploited us. We didn't know what we were doing, right? We were 25, 26-year-old children that got taken advantage. We were 28-year-old children that got taken advantage of. And now we just want to sue because now we can't get married. Our future is destroyed. So these are the things that you just look at this stuff and you shake your hand like, Lord, how long are you going to allow this, you know what I'm saying, this madness to continue, right? Now let's go to conclusion. So what's the conclusion? It says OnlyFans is a platform that blends social media with pornography. While such platforms have become normalized in our society, right, society of degenerates, we still don't fully understand a psychological impact on the content creators. I just talked about it. Lawsuits, women not suited to be wives, low birth rates, collapse of the economy, absolutely. You know, this is gonna this is gonna be detrimental, which is great for us, Israelites, hopeful elect, all right, 144,000, 1/3, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and men that await for Yahushua return. This is wonderful to see the United States go through, Babylon the Great go through stage 4 it's a stage 4 cancer called feminism. Let me see. It says, while there is a range of content available on OnlyFans, it is primarily used as an intimate, personalized pornography medium. It is important to consider all of the implications before embracing it as a mainstream vehicle of female empowerment. Well, that's too late. Or dismissing it as a destructive result of the tumultuous year that was 2020. Yeah, I mean, that's too late. I mean, this Pandora's box has been open, man. It's too late. Forget about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, now let's go to Edom Online. Look up the word whore. It says woman who prostitutes her body for hire, adulteresses. It said prostitute, harlot, right? The mother of our harlots. There's a powerful spirit of whoredom. These women cannot help it, man. Satan has got free reign on the minds of the women in Babylon. Only the elect women of Israel are going to be saved. And those women are really going to be saved because through death and destruction and guts and blood and concentration camps and guillotines and grapes and all of the nasty, crazy work that we're getting ready to witness is going to put so much fear into the hearts of these elect women that's what's gonna cleanse them. Because the Israelite man is slightly different. We need all we need is warnings and logical faith that faith that makes spiritual sense. We also need threatenings, right? The Lord, we need to be compelled, right, for us to get our shit right. Women are totally different. Women need to see blood and guts. They need to see people get smoked out, with no consequences. They need to see the grapes and that ancient savage world has to return. That's the only thing that could cleanse a woman's heart. As long as society is still functioning and whores are being whores and with no consequences, I don't care what women just cannot change. Until then, they just cannot change. All right, Satan is just too powerful for these women. It says prostitute. It says whore itself is perhaps dramatic, and it goes down. It says physical filth, slime, moral corruption, sin. All right, so yeah, man. You got black women just shaking their asses, man. Let's get into the law, man. This is Leviticus 19:29. It says, "Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness." Well, that's what you seen in that video, man, with them black women just dancing. Like, the land is full of whoredom. I mean, these are not wives, these are whores. That's why a lot of dudes are giving up on relationships and dating, and because it took a while, but men are realizing that something's happening. Yeah, something's happening. The end is here. The minute feminism was unleashed, that cancer, it was just a matter of time. Which again, as an Israelite seeking salvation, man, I'm happy that feminism was, unleashed upon this land, man, because I'm trying to get out of here, man. I ain't trying to see Babylon get right. This ain't Nineveh, man. I ain't trying to see this place get right. I want to see this place get as bad as possible. I want more degeneracy. I'm not indulging into the degeneracy, but I need more Babylon, because the more degeneracy we see, the closer we are to the end of Babylon. So we have to want more degeneracy. It's frustrating, but that's the only way out. The place, it just has to be, extremely just degenerate. Proverbs 23 and 27. Proverbs 23 and 27, it says, "For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit." All right, so yeah, that's the thing about whores. It's a deep ditch. You ever been around whores? I have. I mean, all my life. So yeah, man, it's the rabbit hole. I'm telling you, man. That's why you enjoy your time while you can, and then you just let them go, bro. Like these women are dangerous. They really are dangerous, bro. I cut my time real short with these women, bro. Like, I kind of know who they are. I know, I know female nature, so really I know what's going on. I do what I gotta do, and just keep moving, bro. Like, that's it. This is Ecclesiasticus 25, and let me see. 19, it says, "All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her." All right, that's for these guys out here still trying to marry these whores. This is a hoe's paradise. How you gonna have responsibility without authority? And it's funny because now you see that's mainstream, right? A lot of these quotes that the red pill community and all that came up with way back in 2018, 2019. Like, now everybody's talking about, it's funny. Like, you regular dude that used to be, like blue pill and all that other shit, man. People talking about, even at the job, man. I was talking to the Jake, and he was like, a man would sacrifice his feelings for his family. A woman would sacrifice her family for her feelings. I'm just like, yo, these dudes. I'm like, yo, this shit is over, bro. It's over, bro. It's men have waken up. The scripture speaks about women running circles on men, right? That's almost at the end. So it's happening, bro. Verse 24, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gather broad. All right, so you have to have boundaries for women, man. You have to have boundaries for them, but only strong men could do that. I met a woman, an older Jake woman, older loudmouth, and she said, man, she wishes she had met a man that could have protected her from herself. You know, so she was being a loudmouth, and the whole time she was like, you know, the only salvation for her was gonna be a man that would be strong enough, as you know how black woman is, to lay down boundaries. But see, you don't have to be out there forcing boundaries on women. Just have your own boundaries. You know, it's your way or the highway. She ain't trying to get with the program. You let her go. I'm not out here chasing a woman. Hey, where was you at? And then clocking her and all that, and you know what I'm saying? And putting a fucking GPS tracker on your woman's car. Man, if you gotta do all that, man, hey, let that whore go, bro. All right? If she go not as thou wouldest have, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. So you talk about this red pill stuff. The scripture is the most red pill book. It's always been red pill. It's just that when we, it's funny, I was talking to one of the brothers about it, how brothers would be red pill, because the Bible is the red pill book, and you know, the number one red pill book. And like, brothers would be red pill on prophecy and the world and history and the true history and the true this, the true that, but then then the brother would be totally blue pill when it comes to a woman. You're like, fuck, bro, like, you know all of this, you know all the breakdown, but you still haven't figured out this woman thing. How? And this is the reality. I mean, I'm talking about brothers in the truth, and I can attest, because I was one of them, man. All of us have you know, we play that role, man. When I'm a man of the Lord, I know this and I know that, yeah. But then this woman, you can't figure out what she's doing, the games that she playing, bro. You know, it says Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, and I'm gonna jump to 23. It says, Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. Hast thou daughters? Have care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful towards them. See that? A woman's body is important. When she starts to lay down with multiple men, it she's gonna get messed up. She's gonna be a whore. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I can't tell you how many sisters, man, how many so-called black women, I just look and I'm like, damn, like I'll look at her and you could see the potential what she could have been, right? What she could have been. And then you see what she is and who she's with, and, bottom of the barrel type dudes, man. Especially the so-called black women. Like other women of other races, their hypergamy is up. Meaning they usually go after, the best possible prospect financially, wealth-wise, and so on and so forth. The so-called black woman, her hypergamy is like backwards. Like she, instead of going for, dudes that are like successful, like she goes for the bottom of the barrel. Like broke Pookie out in the streets that's getting ready to crash out or die. It's just strange, man. You know what I'm saying? Strange shit. This is Ecclesiasticus 26 and 25. It says, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefast shall fear the Lord. All right, so the majority of women in America, man, Gone. We're going to conclude with this. This is Revelation 19:1. It says, and after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgment. For he has judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and has avenged the blood of his servants at her hand, right? Because some of us are going to have to face the music. You know, it is what it is, but the elect are going to ultimately be delivered. All right. Verse 3, it says, and again they said, hallelujah. And her smoke rose up forever and ever. Right? Why? Because at the end of the day, man, how's the Lord going to deal with Babylon? Via thermonuclear missiles, man. All right. That's how Babylon the Great is going out. As you see right here. Mystery Babylon the Great, a.k.a. the United States of America. A host paradise. So with that, I'm going to say, Kal Halam La Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem, V'chakodash, give a double honors to our apostles, the elders of great millstone, and Shalom and salutation. To all you sincere Akim, across the far winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. Because I'm a guy from the DC camp. Shalom.